These high-profile attacks involving cars have been a concern here in the capital region for decades now.
Yeah, and security measures are always in place and even greater this time of year for the inauguration. 7 News has team coverage. Rebecca Turco with what to expect from a Trump rally the day before his swearing in.
But first, we want to begin with Brad Bell. He is on the Hill where a contractor's big mistake actually led to a massive security scare. Brad?
Yeah, look, we were here this morning getting ready to work on a story about security here when suddenly we had police materialize from all over the place, and we found ourselves inside a perimeter. Now, it turned out to be a false alarm, but what we got to see was just how seriously police here are taking any perceived threat. The lone wolf intent on doing harm with a car, like in New Orleans, has been among the top fears for U.S. Capitol Police for years. And this morning, when a man drove this car up and over a sidewalk and parked on the grass on Capitol grounds, the response was immediate. Within seconds, that man was in handcuffs and surrounded by officers. The police closed roads and called in the bomb squad. Former U.S. Capitol Police Chief Steve Sund says situations and people like this must be taken seriously.
So this is one of our biggest concerns, soft targets. I don't consider the Capitol a soft target, but there's so many different soft targets in Washington, D.C. So now how do you secure all that? That's all working with your partner agencies. But yeah, vehicle ramming, that's been a big issue for many, many years.
This morning, it didn't take long for police to learn the man who parked on the grass was there to work on technical gear being set up for the inauguration, and he simply made a big mistake about where to park. Not a threat, but still taken away in handcuffs to be charged with reckless driving. Meanwhile, rolling into town, truck after truck carrying miles and miles of that black no-climb fencing. Between now and the inauguration, much of the area surrounding Pennsylvania Avenue, the mall, and White House will be surrounded by the stuff.
Right now, I think they're doing about the best job they possibly can. I think everyone, as I drove down here today, you see police on a lot of different corners. I think everyone is pushing out all their assets, and they're at as heightened a sense of security as it can be.
Yeah, so back live now. We're on the Capitol grounds, and you can see that there are people all over the place here. It is still open to the public, but we are told in the next couple of days that perimeter will close. They will be closing off that no-scale fencing so people cannot get in here. Now, the final word on that guy this morning who parked in exactly the wrong place, he is a telecommunications contractor from Georgia, and he was legitimately here to work on some equipment being set up for the inauguration, but he made a big mistake. And we heard from the U.S. Capitol Police Chief today, look, don't park on the sidewalks, follow any directions that you get from police, especially over the next several weeks. At the Capitol, Brad Bell, 7 News.
Good reminder there, Brad. Thank you. We're learning President-elect Donald Trump will hold a rally at Capital One Arena the night before the inauguration.
And that's where Rebecca Turco is live tonight with a look at the security preparations that have been underway for a while now. Rebecca?
Yes, and I'm told Secret Service is the one who's really going to be running the show here. So think a much higher security level than you'd see on your typical game night like we're seeing tonight. Obviously a controlled environment now. Think a different level for all of this. Capital One Arena can hold about 20,000 people. Now, there's no word yet on who's speaking at this rally, the Make America Great Again rally. It's happening on January 19th, and the arena has hosted inaugural events twice before, but not since 2009. I'm told Secret Service is going to be working closely with its federal and local partners to help ensure everyone's safety. Today, I caught up with an expert on Homeland Security for what we can expect at this rally. He says it's going to be an overwhelming security presence, both visible and invisible, very different from the president-elect's last rally in D.C.
It's a much more controlled security environment in contrast to the outdoor rally on January 6th, which was far harder for security officials to patrol, to decide who to let in. And of course, it was much harder to contain once the crowd marched to the Capitol and turned into a mob.
And it's certain to be a busy weekend before Inauguration Day between this rally and the People's Watch on Washington the day before. So, of course, as always with any protest, there can be a concern for any potential clashes. Could we see competing protests? That's what we're working on coming up at 6. For now, reporting live from the Capital One Arena, Rebecca Turco, 7 News.
Rebecca, thank you. And we've got team coverage still ahead. The 7 News I-Team is looking into the rental car company used by both the New Orleans and Las Vegas drivers. And then at 5:30, navigating the D.C. region with road and metro closures planned during inaugurations.